do Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Mahathir Mohamad, Imran Khan Niazi, Joe Biden and Justin Trudeau have in common? Well, don't get overexcited, I know what you're thinking. But here's the kick. Each of them has either held an iron grip on their nation's administration or at some point ruled with a firm hand. Yet, despite their power and influence, all of these leaders share a common flaw. They've tangled with India, and that's where their stories took a troublesome turn. As time passed, two of these leaders have faded into obscurity. Meanwhile, two others continue to cling desperately to their positions, facing challenges from within and beyond their borders. And then there's Justin Trudeau, or Justinda Trudeau if you please, who has officially buckled in the face of the staunch Indian resistance. Join us on board as we shed light on how and why Justin chose to challenge Bharat and why he failed miserably. Just recently, Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly made a significant statement. She expressed Canada's desire for private talks with India to resolve a diplomatic dispute regarding the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, as reported by Reuters. We are in contact with the Government of India. We take Canadian diplomats' safety very seriously and we will continue to engage privately because we think diplomatic conversations are best when they remain private, Reuters quoted Joly as saying to reporters. This statement came in the wake of reports that India had requested Canada to withdraw 41 diplomats, failing which they would revoke their diplomatic immunity. But how did we reach this point? It all started in late September 2023, when Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, made a bold accusation against India of foreign interference. Now that's worth pondering. What exactly did India do? According to Trudeau's address in the Canadian Parliament, India was accused of being complicit in the murder of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Canadian what? Yes, you heard that right. A Khalistani extremist, flagged by Interpol, on multiple no-fly lists, was considered an innocent citizen by Justin Trudeau, allegedly assassinated by ruthless Indians. This might sound like a plot from a dystopian fiction, but this was unfolding in the real world. Justin Trudeau took this matter very seriously. When a leader as influential in geopolitics as Justin Trudeau raises such concerns, the world should take notice. Forget India or any other nation. Even nations on Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, etc. should pay utmost attention. Trudeau's administration went so far as to expel a top Indian diplomat on very serious charges of espionage, all in the name of a man who was in reality a rabble-rouser and a real threat to both India and Canada. But when India, along with the global diaspora, demanded evidence to substantiate the claims, Trudeau's response was, well, for the lack of a better word, startling. He insisted, you have to trust me and my credible sources. What were these sources? Open source material. Essentially, data that can be found with a simple Google search. Yes, let that sink in. Trudeau, however, was not the one to back down easily. He explored every possible avenue to press his case, from seeking support from major superpowers to attempting to sway global media outlets to his side. On any ordinary day, these tactics may have worked. But Trudeau overlooked a fundamental requirement: credible homework, or simply evidence to substantiate his claims. The absence of this critical element would come back to haunt him in many ways. When even local news sources like the Toronto Sun and the National Post hinted at India's resolute response to the allegations, it should have served as a warning sign enough. Yet, Trudeau, seemingly undeterred, pressed on with his accusations. He seemed to forget that he was dealing with Bharat, not some random nation that could easily be kicked around. When Canada tried to flex its muscles by expelling Indian diplomats, India responded in the same manner. But that wasn't the end of it. India issued a stern travel advisory for its citizens planning to visit Canada, equating it at par with Pakistan, that is, a safe haven for terrorists. Trudeau's stubbornness remained unwavering, but India stood its ground, taking further measures such as suspending visa services for Canadian citizens, a clear and unmistakable warning. Trudeau's attempt to gain support from global powers hit a brick wall for two primary reasons. One, he lacked solid evidence, and two, these powers were reluctant to risk antagonizing India globally, especially the USA in particular. Turning to global media outlets, Trudeau hoped that they would back his case. However, their coverage inadvertently strengthened India's position. The Washington Post, for instance, couldn't overlook the fact that Trudeau administration had mishandled the entire investigation. Meanwhile, publications like the Financial Times subtly hinted at the lack of solid evidence backing Trudeau's claims. Why else would they report that a nation like Canada had limitations in sharing crucial materials related to a significant matter as a political assassination on foreign soil? When the Financial Times first reported that India was considering the suspension of diplomatic immunity for Canadian diplomats, skepticism ran high. Many wondered if such a drastic move was really on the horizon. However, the recent developments have shown that these claims weren't pulled out of thin air, as Canada has now initiated private talks with Indian diplomats. According to Foreign Minister Melanie Joly, in moments of tensions, because indeed there are tensions between our governments more than ever, it's important that diplomats be on the ground, and that's why we believe in the importance of having a strong diplomatic footprint in India. This statement underscores the critical role of diplomacy in resolving the current standoff. Even Prime Minister Trudeau himself has emphasized his desire to avoid further escalation of the situation. This is a significant acknowledgement of the gravity of the diplomatic standoff between India and Canada. However, it appears that Prime Minister Trudeau has yet to fully grasp the lessons from this episode. Canada continues to place the burden of proof more on India than on itself, particularly concerning the allegations Trudeau made. What is abundantly clear, though, is that Canada has surrendered in the face of India's unyielding diplomatic resistance. Even a global power like the United States has to carefully consider its actions 100 times before challenging India. So how did Justin Trudeau even think that he could challenge India and just get away with it?